Hey guys, what's going on? This is RJ Game News USA here, and I'm back today with another video, and of course, we're talking about Xbox because they just keep releasing bad news. So, there's so many things that have happened bad to Xbox this year. This year's truly been the death of Xbox as we know it. So with that being said, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. And let's talk about this. Because apparently, Microsoft is reportedly demanding that Xbox achieves a 30% profit margin. A goal significantly higher than the gaming industry average of 17 to 22%. The directive was set by CFO Amy Hood in fall of 2023. It's cited as the primary reason for recent decisions like all the layoffs, the project cancellations, such as Perfect Dark and Everwild, and price increases for hardware and subscriptions. And also the new strategy of releasing games on rival platforms like PlayStation and Nintendo. I gotta talk about each of these things. Okay? First of all, this 30%, this profit margin deal, I will never understand this from companies. Okay? You can make more real whole dollars by investing in your company instead of doing cuts to have a better percentage. So I will never quite understand that. But this 30% is completely unattainable. And if anything, they're going to be worse off. Let's talk about each of these. So, all these layoffs, I've been really pissed off about all these layoffs they had. That was one of the things they did earlier in the year that really irritated the shit out of me, laying off like 15,000 people. Their push for AI, clearly the driver behind that as well. Canceling Perfect Dark, that was a huge blow. Look, it's one thing if you want to be more of a third-party publisher, but canceling highly anticipated games that looked good at a presentation, not a good move. That's a sign of a dying company. Or not a dying company, but a dying brand within a company. Because Microsoft is super successful. Xbox has yet to really turn a profit for Microsoft in all these years, and they've about had enough. So we as the gamers are going to be suffering as a result. Competition brings out the best in people. We don't need PlayStation to not compete with Microsoft. But that is apparently what's going on. Especially considering the fact that Halo is coming to PS5. There are no more red lines. It's over. There's no more defending Xbox. You're not defending a brand anymore. This is like Sega kids who were defending Sega once the Dreamcast went belly up. You lost. And we could go over the many, many ways Xbox lost the console war. And they've acknowledged they've lost. Yet, I'll have people in my comment section, like in my shorts, where I talk about the next-gen Xbox being $1,500, still trying to defend the company. When you could buy a Steam Deck, a PS5, and a Switch 2 for cheaper than what the next-gen Xbox is going to cost. Whenever the Xbox ROG Ally cost $1,000, and people want to sit there and defend that, and act like, hey, this is normal. This is not normal. Xbox even tries to raise game prices to $80. They actually walked that back. But yet we've had 2 hardware increases this year alone. Macroeconomics is the excuse. I hear a lot of blame Trump for the tariffs. I hear a lot of, this or that. Nintendo and Sony aren't really fucking with it. You know what I mean? Now, Microsoft, it might be their fault that they get 90% of their chips from China. But again, we now know the real reason for the price increases. This 30% profit margin. What have they done to Game Pass? They found a way to double its or 50% increase on it, raising it from 20 to 30 for Ultimate. They're not looking to grow Game Pass anymore. They've already acknowledged they've capped out the market there. They just want to squeeze every dollar out of the existing customer until they wise up and leave. Just buy your games. Just buy your games on PlayStation or Nintendo at this point. Or PC. But this next-gen console, if you want to even call it that, I've debated even calling it that. It's going to fail. PlayStation has no need to release a PS6. We don't need a new console generation till minimum 2030. Graphical fidelity will not get that much better to the naked eye in the next couple years. It's not worth the generational leap. It's the return. It's the diminishing returns. You know what I mean? People don't have an appetite right now for buying even $600, $700 boxes or more. The PS6 could cost $1,000. We're in the era where consoles could be $1,000 plus. And all I hear in my comment section is, bro, just save up money, make more money. That's not even the point. Okay? I could buy it. But there is better things you could do with $1,000 or $1,500. Investing in your accounts, or your retirement, or save, or put it towards a new vehicle, or pay off bills or debt. I'm not speaking for just me when I say this. I'm speaking for the general public. Think about it. Who gets a lot of consoles? Christmas gifts, right? For kids. Families. You know, used to drop $200, $300, $400 on a box, baby. Now you're expecting that same family to sit there and when that next-gen console comes out, drop $1,500 on it? And it's a PC on a TV where you got to update drivers and do certain things that console players aren't used to? So who's this even for? PC players already want their rig or have their rig set up. This will be less than a 10 million selling console if it comes out. This is like PSVR 2 or Virtual Boy stuff. Well, the ROG Ally's like that. This will be a little better than that. This is more like it'll sell Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast level. At best. How's that going to raise your profit margin? Well, gee, I guess if we make 3 million of these boxes and the profit margin's 30%, I guess we got our 30%, right? Sure. But how many more millions and tens of millions of dollars did you leave on the table in raw dollars? Amy Hood doesn't know a damn thing about the gaming industry. That's clear. But one of the biggest problems with Xbox, if you want to go in the Wayback Machine, really starts with the Xbox One era. When they were like TV in their presentation. When they wanted to ram DRM down your throat. When they wanted to force to connect on you. When they acted like you couldn't share your game. Then they lost that generation. And you know what? They tried damn hard to win people back over. They really did, including me. I got an Xbox One. I had a PS4 from 2013 to 2016. I switched over to Xbox One in 2016 to about 2023. Then I finally dipped into next gen with the PS5. Of course, I had Nintendo the whole time. That's beside the point. Xbox was winning people over. Game Pass was awesome. All these games for one monthly cost, one low monthly price. And then they were buying all these studios. When they bought Bethesda, it was great. They dropped the whole service on Game Pass, or all the games on the service. Fallout, Skyrim, all that. And then what they do? They wanted to buy Activision Blizzard. And that's where things went wrong. That got the attention of Big Daddy Microsoft. And they're like, You want us to put Big Daddy $70 billion to buy Activision Blizzard? Then we need to turn a motherfucking profit. And now, instead of what I hoped the future of Xbox could be, which was exclusives. You're buying these studios to try to get back in the console war. Make Call of Duty exclusive. Make World of Warcraft console exclusive. You know, put all these games on Game Pass. Drive up the subscribers. Make people buy your box. They pussied out. They wussed out. They wimped out. They took the easy way out. They sold out, and now everything's when they say everything's an Xbox, they mean everything from Xbox is available to their rival platforms. Now, Halo is coming to PlayStation. The death nail of Xbox. This would be like Sonic. Well, this reminds me when Sonic came to Nintendo. When I played Sonic Adventure Battle 2 on the GameCube, it was over for Sega. In that respect. We've seen it done to Atari as well. Except this is different. They're doing it in a half measure. Where they could have sat there and had all these exclusives and got themselves back in the console race by force. They had to appease the FTC and say Call of Duty's not coming. And then Microsoft comes in and says, well, everything else is coming to everything else too. Which is not what Xbox or Phil Spencer had planned. Yet here we are. And now, they should just get out entirely of hardware at this point and go full third party. But they don't even do that right. They're staying in hardware, but they're doing it in the most meager way possible. Let's build out a PC thing, put an Xbox sticker on it, and sell it for exorbitant prices. Let's keep Game Pass around, but let's jack it up. How's that going to work? You got to pay to play online, but it's free online for Steam. How's that going to work in your box? You have conflicting views here. Pick a lane, stick to it. What about this idea of cloud gaming taking off? Why isn't Xbox just an app on your phone or on the TV that tens of millions of people are enjoying, and they use an Xbox controller to play on? Why is that deal with the TVs only with, LG? I don't even know who the deal is with. Samsung, whatever. You can go that route. I'm sure Google Stadia will tell you some things about that. Obviously, they don't care about physical games. Stores are kicking them out. We covered that story. There's like 10 freaking stories we covered this year about Xbox. We covered the layoffs. We've covered Halo going to PlayStation. We covered them raising prices on games. We covered them raising prices on hardware twice. We covered them raising Game Pass. We covered their next-gen hardware being $1,500. All this is bad news. Now we're covering this 30% profit margin bullshit. When will it end? Give up. Go fuck off. For all I care. So again, if any of you Xbox want to sit there in the comment section and tell me why I'm wrong, okay, go ahead. You're defending the indefensible. I'm not somebody who's hated Xbox my whole life. I actually would want what's best for them and what's best for gamers, which would have been a competitive Xbox with exclusives. By the way, Sony fucks up too. So does Nintendo to even lesser extent. But Sony fucks up too. Sony puts games on PC. Now you're going to be able to access PlayStation games like that through the Xbox's little PC hybrid. The only one left with exclusives is Nintendo. They've done it right. Now some of you might be saying, well, who gives a shit? Play what you want on what you want. That's what this upcoming generation believes. They do. But I look at it from the perspective of, why do I need this box? What drives me to want to purchase this machine? And the answer always was and always will be the fucking games that I can only play on this machine. Why do I have a Switch 2? The only way I can play Mario Kart World is on the Switch 2. Why do I have a PS5? The only fucking reason, the only way I could play Astro Bot was on the PS5. And there's more than those games. I'm just saying, why did you buy what you bought? I bought the Switch 1 because I had to have Mario Odyssey. I bought a 360 because I had to have Halo 3. Any console I've had, that's been the case. Always has been, always will fucking be. Because if I have one device that can just play it all, that's all I'll need. But I'm not dropping $1,500 to do so. I actually care about Nintendo IPs. Now, PlayStation, I don't care much for their IPs. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't. I actually cared more for the Halo, or I care more for the Xbox IPs. I cared more about Halo and Gears and whatever. But now you're telling me on PlayStation, I could play all that on PlayStation and get the PlayStation exclusives and get all the third-party games on there too. And still keep Nintendo and their stuff. And if I really want Steam that fucking bad, and I want to play it on my TV, who's to stop me from getting a Steam Deck? Nobody. Okay, well, what about doing Game Pass though? What about Game Pass? It's going up, so who cares? It went up in price, so I don't give a shit. By the way, I canceled before it went up in price whenever I switched over to PlayStation because they didn't bring the Activision games they promised. When they bought Activision Blizzard, I thought all the games would drop in the service like Bethesda. There I sat 2 years later. Where the fuck are they? Not there. Not there. So again, Xbox has been a nice well of content for me. It's been me being able to rage over and over and over and over again about their decisions. They're always wrong. It's comedy gold. But it's going to lead to Sony having the laziest fucking PS6 launch of all time. I am not interested in next gen whatsoever. I have no appetite for it. I just got a Switch 2. I'm enjoying my PS5. I'm not ready for a PS6. And you know what? They won't have anything on there that I must play anyway. Because everything is going to be cross-gen there for 4 or 5 years. So they don't give me a reason to upgrade themselves. And without competition, it's going to get really, really fucking boring with first-party exclusives. They might actually be dead outside of Nintendo. But the gaming industry has changed forever. Thanks to the missteps of Microsoft. in a way that Atari leaving and Sega leaving will not have a lasting impact compared to this. This will have a lasting impact forever. And with that being said, guys, that is the end of the video. Thank you for watching me rant. I appreciate it. And I will see you all later. Leave your thoughts in the comments below.